Hello. In this video, I will explain you how you can set up a routing for your Angular application. I will be using my Prodo application to demonstrate this concept. So, routing is basically a way using which you can link up with native history API in the browser and serve different parts of the application to your users. So, for example, at the moment, if I refresh my sample application, what you will see is the default routing that I'm using is domain/home. So this is my home screen and I'm serving a home screen to my user. And if I would like to serve different products to my user, then I'm serving it by using a different URL. Let us see the app module for this application where we have routing set up in place. So this is my app module, which is the root module of the application, and there is no harm in defining the routing configuration within this module, but it is good if you can define it in a different module. As you can see, app routing module is another module that I import, that is, I'm importing it in this way. Let us look at the implementation of this app routing module. Okay, the class is very simple. It has no additional members, and we are using the ng module type decorator available in Angular. So this is basically using the router module that is coming from the router package, as you can see. And what we are using is its for root method. For root is basically a way to create module with all the router providers and directives, as you can see in the description available over here. Now you will also find there is a similar way to register routes for your child modules. The only difference here you will find is in the method declaration is for root method you have some different extra options you can specify. So just to look at few of the options, you can enable the tracing so that you can see what's happening in the console. You can use hashing, which is also known as URL hash fragment, if you don't want to use the history API of the browser, and few more setups, as you can see, for the error handling and the loading strategy. Alright, now what we do is, when we call the for root, we are just passing the parameter for the routes, as you can see, and this is defined over here. We are importing this Angular router module, but we also export the same module because we would like to set up our module first after we import, and then we export the same module so that it is available to the main module, which is this one. Okay, now let us look at our application route. So you basically import this routes type from the router package. So the definition of routes is basically an array of route, as you can see. And let us look at the definition of route. And here you can find so many members that you can actually define. For example, you can define a path match, what component to load, where to redirect, and there are a few events that you can actually use. These are basically the lifecycle events whenever you try to hit a particular route, or so whether a route can be activated, whether it can activate the child, can deactivate, and can load, and so on. As you can see, we also have data and resolve, which can be used to serve up some data to that component which is linked with the route. Okay, so let's see. I've already shown you the home path, which serves up my home screen, which is the welcome component. And what I'm saying here is, if there is no path, that is when my application loads with just the domain and no other URL segment like this. So what you'll find is it directly goes to the home. So as you can see, I'm using the redirect to member over here, and the path match, what I'm saying is to match the full path which is empty as defined over here. And the last route that I'm using is I'm using a wildcard character that match anything which is not over here, like any of the two above. Then the component that I would like to serve is page not found component. This is basically a good way of saying that page not found to our end users. So if I type something like home test, which is not a valid route in my case, so we should see page not found text, which is basically coming from the page not found component. So as you can see, we are importing ng module. This is basically to declare this module as an ng module, and the second line, this one, we are importing router module and routes. This is basically for the type which is used over here. Alright, on line number 4 and 5, these are our custom components which we are using when defining our actual routes. So as you can see, this is really simple, and in my next video I will explain how you can set up routing for a child module. If you would like to get updates, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my blog. I will see you around. Bye bye.